Okay. So I'm almost 25, and I guess my story doesn't really start until just a few years ago when I was like 23, almost 24. And if someone had asked me if I was Christian and if I believed in God, I would have said yes, because I did believe in God, and when I was younger, I grew up in church, but I don't know if I even really knew what it really meant to be a Christian, and I definitely didn't know that you could like actually have a relationship with God. I was living a very self-centered life. I didn't really care if I was making God happy or anybody else happy. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do, and I was okay with that. But I had done everything that I thought you were supposed to do in life. I went to school, I got my first like grown-up adult job, and I got my first apartment, and then, we all went to the next phase of our life where we thought, I had to get married and start a family, and then that was just gonna complete everything and I'd be happy. So that was pretty much like my main focus in life. And I started dating this guy, and everything was just clicking together and falling into place. I got along with his family, he got along with mine, and all of our friends liked each other. And we were only dating for a few months, but he was already talking about the future and stuff like that. So I was just really excited about it, and I just thought that, that was forever, and that it was just we'd get married eventually and all that stuff. He was supposed to meet me at a friend's house, and he didn't show up, so I texted him because we wanted him to pick something up for us, and he didn't respond. And so I texted him again. He responded with just, "I can't do this." And I was just kind of like, what? And I texted him back, and that's when he told me that he had met someone else, and he just, quote, had to see what happened. And then I got the whole, you didn't do anything wrong, it's nothing you did, and you're a great person, blah, blah, blah. But it was like my entire world just fell apart. And I was broke. And I went home because I didn't want to be around anybody, and so I drove home, and I was just so upset, and I was so sad, and I was crying, and then my crying just switched to anger, and I was instantly just angry at God. And I don't really know where that came from, because God was not in my life, he was not in our relationship, he was not anywhere. I couldn't go to church or anything like that, but I was just angry with him because this fell apart, and I didn't have anything else. I didn't know what else to do. I had based my whole future on this working out, and it didn't. And I didn't get like any sleep that night. And the next morning it was Sunday, and my mom had been going to the chapel. So I met her there, and they were in the middle of a book series by Rick Warren, The Purpose-Driven Life. And so I went on my lunch break at work on Monday, and I went and bought the book. And I started reading it. One of the days, the main message is that God can use pain as a megaphone to get your attention and to get you to turn to him. And it was just like something clicked, and I was like, okay, I was meant to read this, I was meant to be at the chapel on that day, and I was meant for that to happen. And I think that is why I went through that really painful experience, was because it did ultimately get me to turn to him. And he tried in more subtle ways, I think, to get my attention. Like my grandma would send me those little devotional books, and I would just toss them in the mail or in the trash. And my mom always asked me to go to church with her, and I always, had something better to do or I wanted to sleep in. So he had to do something that was just really going to just crush me to get me to turn to him. And then, I started going to the chapel on a regular basis, and I did the foundation classes, and I took part in the baptism, and now I'm helping with the high school, and it's just a lot has changed. There's a lot of things that I used to do that I don't do anymore, and I don't enjoy doing them anymore, and that's why I don't do it. I realize they don't make me happy, they're not benefiting me in any way, and it's really helped having a lot of the people that I'm surrounded by at the chapel, because it is someone to talk to and to journey with, and to just kind of realize, you're not alone in going through this stuff, and it's not always easy, but it is worth it. And I'm definitely not perfect, and I'm not trying to say that I'm perfect at all, but I am working on it, and I'm making a more conscious effort to be a better Christian and to do things that I think would make God happy. And it's not just going to church on Sunday, praying a lot, talking to Him a lot, even if it's just like on my drive to work in the morning, just talking to Him, like letting my frustrations out on Him, and asking Him for help and to just help me know His presence, and so I guess actively seeking Him. My name's Lindsay, and that was a glimpse into my story.